Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. Thank you so much for joining me today. I hope you all keeping well. So for thousands of years, executions had been happening all over. But in 1196 was the very first public execution of a man named William Fitz Osbert. And today we hear his story. In the 12th century, William Fitz Osbert, also known as William Longbeard, was widely known as the spirited champion of the poor people of London. The story of Longbeard and the revolt he led in 1196. William Fitz Osbert, often referred to by the chroniclers as William Longbeard or William with the long beard, was of London's ruling elite, but his nickname signalled his adaptation to that of a holy man, and it was that religious status unconnected to the church that gave Longbeard the prominence and authority needed to lead a popular movement among the poor and middling citizens of London. Fitz Osbert's rebellion was through the collection of the taxation to pay the ransom of King Richard I the Lionheart, who had been taken prisoner by the German Emperor Henry VI on his way back from the Holy Land. The contemporary chronicler Roger of Howden, who'd demonstrated some cautious sympathy for Fitz Osbert, wrote, quote, "The rich men sparing their own purse wanted the poorer to pay everything," end quote. He went on saying that Longbeard had become sensible of this and been inflamed of the zeal for justice and equity, becoming the champion of the poor. It be in Longbeard's wish that every person, both rich and poor, should give accordingly to their property and means. Longbeard held office as a source of magistrate in London, and through this he had organised large public gatherings, challenging the authorities. Longbeard's supporters were organised by oath. The fullest account of events written by the chronicler William of Newburgh was designed to entirely discredit William Longbeard, but William Newburgh, there's too many Williams, William Newburgh claimed that 52,000 people had enrolled in the rebellion, although these numbers are very high and it's quite the wild exaggeration, especially as that number was larger than the whole population of London at that time. But it's clear that it was a massive movement. Many people was involved. At some point, Fitz Osbert had left London to meet the king across the channel, although it's not clear of what kind of response he'd got, and it appears the journey had only strengthened his determination instead of weakening it. After that point, the revolt radicalised the revolutionary speech attributed to Longbeard by William of Newburgh. Quote, "I am the saviour of the people, you are poor, who have experienced the heaviness of rich men's hands. Drink from my wells the waters of the doctrine of salvation, and you may do this joyfully, for the time of your visitation is at hand. For I will divide the rafters from the waters. The people are the waters. I will divide the humble and the faithful people from the haughty and treacherous people. I will separate the elite from the reprobate, as light from darkness." This had probably pushed Longbeard's words further towards hearsay. Now, Longbeard and his supporters had paralysed London's government, as the first action against them came from the royal government, Hubert Walter, the King's Justiciar and also the Archbishop of Canterbury. Now, he had ordered that any of the common people were found outside London, they should be arrested as enemies of the king. Over time, merchants of the people found at Stamford Fair were arrested. Now, Hubert Walter, who had taken hostages from London's families to prevent them from being able to support Longbeard, this was clearly designed to drive a wedge between Longbeard and his most prosperous supporters. It's not clear how far that had weakened the movement, but William of Newburgh had placed Longbeard's preaching after that point of the hostages being taken, as Longbeard's movement became more forward and Longbeard's stance became more radical. It became enough for the royal government to step in. For some time, Longbeard had remained out of reach for his opponents, as he was so surrounded by his populace that he couldn't be arrested by the authorities. They had to wait for their moment until they discovered a moment when Longbeard was less guarded by the people. And Hubert Walter sent them in with an armed force to capture Longbeard, and his companions had taken sanctuary in a church of St. Mary le Bow. Hubert Walter, who was also the Archbishop of Canterbury, as well as being the King's Justiciar, had demanded the church be set alight so that the rebels would be forced out. Longbeard had managed to escape the burning church, but he was fatally wounded. William Fitz Osbert was captured and he was tried and he was publicly hanged at Tyburn for treason in 1196. After Fitz Osbert's execution, the authorities had to quickly suppress a growing martyrs cult. The cult had appeared to have attracted the attention of so many people in and around London and beyond. According to William Newburgh, his popularity was such that, quote, "The idiot rubble therefore kept constant watch and ward over the spot, and the more honour they paid to the dead man, so much the crime did they impute on him by whom he had put to death." The result of the 1196 revolt may have been suppressed, but it had a long-term impact. There were continued struggles between the crown and the barons and the townspeople. And as King John and Henry III in the 13th century would find out. And there we are. There's only a quick video for today, but I wanted, as soon as I heard of William Fitz Osbert, I wanted to do a video on him, but unfortunately there's just not an awful lot known, and or what's known as that he was the first public man to be executed, and I thought that his story needed to be told, and that is that for today. But thank you so much for joining me. I hope you enjoyed the video. Please do hit that subscribe button and the notification bell so you don't miss any future uploads. And if you have any recommendations, what you would like me to do, then please let me know. All right? And yeah, that's it. The outros aren't any better. The intros aren't that better. But there we are. Anyway, I'm going to go now. Right, take care. See you soon. Bye.